Oh, hello. I totally saw you there because I planned this video a week ago. I even primed now to this tree. I wanted to do a video about the best Switch games of the year. The only problem is, I haven't played them all, and my tastes might be very different than yours. Given the timing of this video's release, I wanted to do something a little bit special for the holidays, so I enlisted the help of literally everybody that I know with a Nintendo focus on YouTube, and to my surprise, all of them wanted to contribute a little something. It was honestly very humbling to know that everybody wanted to help do something on this little channel. It really means a lot.
Yes, that's right, Beb. This is our favorite Nintendo Switch games for 2019, and I can't wait. So without further ado, here are our top YouTuber Nintendo picks for the year.
Yeah. Hey man, I only need like a minute-long clip of you talking about your favorite game. That's all I need.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on any toes here. I just figured we were doing like a double collab. You know, like last time when you were on my channel, I was on your channel. You are on my channel today, right? Like my entire video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Then yeah, I'm absolutely going to be sticking around here for this whole thing as much as I want.
But there's other people here too that want to be a part.
As much as I want, Bab. Are you deaf? I don't know if that hair is... I know I did mine. I put my hair up. I don't know if your hair is blocking your ability to hear me right now. I am not going anywhere.
Fine, but just please don't embarrass me in front of Kevin Kenson. This video is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club, and we'll hear more about them later. So here's how this is gonna work. I've asked every creator that I've ever talked to pick their favorite Nintendo Switch game of the year and talk about why it's their favorite Switch game of the year. If you don't see your favorite creator here in this video, that's because I've probably never talked to them. Tell them to follow me on Twitter or something. I'm then gonna cut all of the people together and group them by games. So if a bunch of creators talk about one specific game, you can safely assume that it's probably a pretty good game.
Yes, that's right, Bob. It sounds to me like the game the most creators talk about today could probably be unofficially dubbed the best Nintendo Switch game of the year. Again, just kind of amongst us creators.
Yeah, I guess that's right. So we'll try to keep track of that. Let's just jump right into it with the first game, which is Dragon Quest XI.
Builders! Oh, sorry. My bad.
No, you go.
You go.
No, you go.
You go.
No, you go.
No, you go.
No, you just
No,
go.
you
Okay, I'll go. It's Dragon Quest XI. Dragon Quest XI is a game that I personally have not played. It's not exactly my speed. The most experience that I have with Dragon Quest is Hero in Super Smash Bros., and that's gonna leave a pretty bad taste in your mouth. But the game does have a 91 on Metacritic, and I've heard a lot of great things from a lot of these very same people.
Dragon Quest XI surprised me a lot because I had never played a Dragon Quest game before, at least not a traditional JRPG Dragon Quest game. My first outing into Dragon Quest was the Builder series, which I absolutely fell in love with, so I knew I had to try 11S when it came to Switch. But what I discovered was a non-stop adventure full of likable characters and some of the best turn-based RPG I have experienced in a game of this style. I think what I loved most about my playthrough with Dragon Quest XI is all the little stories it told along the way. As you go land to land, town to town, city to city, you meet different characters, each with their own little sub-story within the larger story. And it was always really exciting to, for a brief moment, take part in their story, and it usually involved a big boss battle at some point. It certainly reminds me of games like Final Fantasy IX and Ocarina of Time if they were mishmashed together into one game, and that's kind of a perfect combination.
I was told this was a Christmas special, so I set up accordingly. I'm a big RPG fan, which has actually ended up being a really good genre on the Switch. It's just had a lot of great hits, and this year, honestly, I'm kind of tied up between two, Dragon Quest XI and Fire Emblem Three Houses. Now, Dragon Quest is a little weird, I know, because it was released on PS4 originally, like a year ago, or even longer if we're talking about back in Japan, but the point is the Switch port adds a lot more content, and there's just something about the Dragon Quest series that is this really weird balance of like, it just feels like home. It's a very old school retro approach to things, but still having at least kind of shiny graphics and updated mechanics. And it's just a really nice balance of something that's a little new, but really familiar at the same time.
Next up we could talk about one that was kind of a sleeper hit for a lot of people. That was Luigi's Mansion 3. I mean, it's like good. I see why a lot of people like it. I was one of those kids that didn't like the original Luigi's Mansion because it was a launch title for the GameCube and there was no Mario game. I don't want to play as the brother, I want to play as the red one. So before getting into this one, I wanted to quell my childhood negativity and go into it with a little bit of optimism. And I liked it. It's certainly very pretty and the environments are nice, but I don't know, listen to these guys.
So Bob has asked me to pick out a Switch game that I would consider my favorite Switch game or my Switch game of the year, and I am going with Luigi's Mansion 3. Now, I'm going with Luigi's Mansion as my Switch game of the year for a few reasons. The first is what it shows the Switch is able to do if a developer puts the effort in and creates specifically for this system. This game looks amazing in motion, and Next Level Games didn't just stop with those visuals, the animations are top-notch even in-game. Also, it's still Luigi's Mansion, so while we've started to get used to this gameplay loop, it's still a lot of fun, and they added some extra elements in to change things up. Luigi does introduce some good puzzles that have some nice aha moments, and play along well with the different floors that you visit. I really enjoyed being surprised by what each new floor would bring when the elevator doors opened, and just based on the sheer variety throughout the game, I found myself being constantly excited for what was next. You know, looking back at 2019, there were a lot of good games this past year on the Switch, so it was a hard decision. I came down to a couple other ones around Luigi's Mansion 3. I figure Fire Emblem would have been probably the more popular choice, and while Pokemon is most likely going to be the best-selling Switch game of the year, I really couldn't go with Pokemon either. I mean, have you seen this tree? I know, right?
My game of the year is one that many people thought would be Super Mario's Brothers game, Luigi's Mansion 3. What an absolute banger of a game. I love Luigi's Mansion 3 purely because, as someone who's played Luigi's Mansion 1, it's such an evolution of the game. It's so much more fun, it's so much more vibrant, it feels like you're playing a wonderful, funny movie. It's so cool. Luigi's animations are just hilarious, and the story and puzzle elements of the game is just so fun. Also, playing in co-op is actually really, really fun. Adding in a second player is super easy, and then it's accessible enough for new people to come in and have fun. So that's my game of the year, Luigi's Mansion 3. Did that in one take.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
You didn't mention anything about the puzzles.
I said puzzles.
It is a shame, it is a damn shame that nobody on this list picked Luigi's Mansion 3 as their Nintendo Switch game of the year. Luigi's Mansion 3 was awesome. Like, yeah, you had Super Mario Maker 2, you had Link's Awakening Remake, Fire Emblem, Astral Chain, all great games, but they did not compare to the greatness that was Luigi's Mansion 3, an exclusive game for the Nintendo Switch, the best looking Nintendo Switch game to date. You can make a case for it. Unique levels, great gameplay. Why did nobody pick this game? Hold on a second. Phone's ringing. Hello?
Yeah, John already picked.
Spawnwave picked Luigi's Mansion 3, and he's going before me in the video? Spawnwave, you're a son of a... Well, yeah, I mean, I guess since Spawnwave already talked about Luigi's Mansion 3, nobody cares what I have to say about the game. So, you know what? Go enjoy the game. It was my favorite game of 2019. Thank you, Wulff Den, for having me on.
Why does everybody think they need to be the only one to like a game?
Let me guess, he used the black and white filter with the rain, maybe even a slow zoom, right? You wander into the effects tab on Power Director one time, all of a sudden you're an expert. Also, have you seen this rock? Yeah, no, wait, what? Wait, Sean? Actually, you know what? It kind of works.
You know what? It's about time. I feel like talking about Mario Maker, and wouldn't you know it, I'm the only one who picked Mario Maker. Mr. A Game, you really let me down on this one. If I had to pick the best game that I played this year, it might go to Pokemon, but this is my personal favorite game that I played this year, so it's gotta go to Super Mario Maker 2. At its core, yes, it's just the first game with a new coat of paint and some minor upgrades, but that's all I needed. I loved the first game so much, all I really wanted was a port for the Switch. I'm not that into the addition of the 3D World playstyle, but the addition of a versus multiplayer is amazing. It's my favorite mode to play in, even if you have a 1 in 4 chance of playing a slideshow. It's still worth it to me. And the newest update, adding the Link power-up, changes the game so much. Link has so many new mechanics that levels including the Master Sword feel like a completely different game. And the Ninja speedruns are also a great new addition. If you finish the level under a certain amount of time, you unlock these stars for your Mii character. And since I play a lot of multiplayer, I need those stars so I can show off how cool I am. I love this game a lot. I can see why it doesn't command a higher praise from other people, but its flaws don't stop it from being my game of the year. All right, well, since I just did a lot of talking, let's talk about one that I don't have much to say about. Like, for example, Fire Emblem Three Houses, a strategy RPG? Those two things just don't sound good. But a lot of people said that they liked it way more than they expected to, so I'm sure if I gave it a shot, I might be surprised by it as well. But man, with the main story being 47 hours, ain't nobody got time for that. Except all of these people.
So Bob wants to know my favorite Switch game of 2019. Ooh, that's a toughie. Obviously, my favorite game of the year is... Just kidding. Game of the year for me in 2019 has definitely gotta be Fire Emblem Three Houses. Was not expecting this game, completely took me by storm. Astral Chain takes the action for me, but in all reality, Fire Emblem, amazing music, amazing storylines, plural. Haven't even got to finish all of them. So much replayability. You fall in love with the characters, fall in hate with the characters. It's freaking great. Never played a Fire Emblem game before, and I'm glad that this was my first one, and I can't wait for more on the Switch. Hopefully more DLC. If you haven't got a chance to play it, highly recommend it, but that's all I got to say about my Switch game of the year. Thanks for letting me rant, Bob. You're great, and thanks for watching, guys. Happy New Year!
Hello. What's up? As 2019 was my first year as a content creator, I actually played more different games this year than any other year ever before. So naturally, my opinion is a lot more important and valuable than anybody else's here. But all joking aside, for 2019, I've got to give it to Fire Emblem. Honestly, I can't tell you exactly what the magic of the game is, but for me, the combat was entertaining, the characters were deep, diverse, and interesting, and the actual impact that many of your choices made was fascinating. I humbly made the correct choice of the Golden Deer House, and so now, as a key member of the Leicester Alliance, we need you to help make this world a better place.
As for Fire Emblem, I'm gonna be honest, I had my doubts going into it because I wasn't really into the whole like, hey, it's also kind of a high school drama at the same time, you're a teacher, that's kind of weird. But really, jumping into the game, the multiple plot lines you go through, the changes to the class system, the kind of little mysteries they add in the early parts they get answers to in the second half of the game, it just ends up being a really good experience. Each playthrough is a little shorter than some of the other Fire Emblems, but across how many times you can play that game and how many different ways you can really kind of approach it each time, it's honestly genius. It's a really cool, interesting, different approach from the rest of the series, and in such a way that I kind of hope they don't make another one in the same style, but I really like this one existing as its own isolated, awesome, cool experiment.
Actually ordered this Christmas tree because I saw Kevin Kenson's setup looked so nice. I had this sweater first, though, and I have the Amazon receipt to prove
Looks
it.
like you're embarrassing yourself in front of Kevin Kenton.
He's got such a nice studio.
Kevin and I go way back. We're great friends. You don't know Kev? You don't? This is your first time meeting Big Kev? Big Kevo! Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, I know Kevin. We hung out once.
I could do a little bit less of beating me to the Switch controllers.
Yeah, well, that's because they send them to him. And sometimes me. Like I said before, if it came down to what I thought was the best game of this year, it might go to Pokemon Sword and Shield. Despite what some vocal fans had to say, it did a lot for moving the franchise forward. I've spent a lot of hours in it, but I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. I haven't had this much fun in a Pokemon game since Blue back in 1998. And being able to do raid battles with your friends, even if you're at vastly different parts of the game, really made it that much more of a great experience for me. Not as much as Mario Maker, but I admit it's probably the better game, with a broader appeal to everybody.
So the best game of 2019 is obviously Resident Evil 2. It just had everything I was ever looking for in a game like this, and also Switch Game of the Year. Damn it. Okay, fine, so I can't pick Resident Evil 2, but that's okay, because Resident Evil 4 came to the Switch this year, and I still think it is the greatest... Damn it! Alright, fine. Pokemon Sword and Shield. Yes, this is about as far away from Resident Evil as you could get, but you know what? Game's still very good. For a lapsed fan like myself looking to get back into the world of Pokemon, this was the perfect way to do it. It felt familiar in that I knew exactly how to play and what to do in the world, but it also felt fresh and exciting and wasn't too bogged down with a lot of old school, outdated elements. I know this game is controversial amongst the purists, but for me, I can't remember the last time I had fun doing things I generally don't like in games, like getting lost in open worlds with completely no direction ahead of me, like grinding all of my characters endlessly to level them up, like doing turn-based combat. All of these things I keep doing and enjoying. I keep coming back to this game more than any other game on the Switch this year. It's just this element of wanting to keep going, to keep progressing, to keep trying to be the very best like no one ever was. Pokemon has always been excellent at doing something like this, and Sword and Shield continues this tradition for the next generation. I'm also excited to see just exactly how I crush Hop's hopes and dreams. I am fully accepting the fact that I am the bad guy of this story. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a Raboot that needs evolving. I'm done looking at his emo teenage ass. Goodbye.
Happy holidays, everyone. Bob asked me what my favorite Nintendo Switch game of 2019 is, and I had to pick one, and that's a little hard. I really do have to say that my first dive into a Pokemon game that I could play on a home console was really fantastic. Until now, it's just been like a very emulating idea of being able to play a Pokemon game while sitting on the couch. But with Pokemon Sword and Shield, that's an experience, and I could just play it in my hand, or I could dock it on TV, and that's fantastic. The game, while it does have its flaws and its exploits, it's brought me so much fun. I've put hundreds of hours into it already, and it just brings me back to when Pokemon Sun and Moon X and Y came out, and I was ready for a brand new generation. So my Nintendo Switch game of the year for 2019 is going to be the Pokemons. Happy holidays, everyone. On to the next guy.
Hi, I'm the next guy. As many regular Wulff Den viewers would know, it's only right that my game of the year for 2019 is Pokemon Sword and Shield. After all, in the years since Nintendo Switch's release, I spent those years talking about what I wanted to see the Pokemon franchise accomplish next for the platform. A lot of those videos veered more on the negative side. There's a lot of old parts of Pokemon that I don't think aged very well. But that said, the goalpost I think they need to be aiming for is to improve on their last at bat, and that goes for any franchise, not just Pokemon. So the question then becomes, do Pokemon Sword and Shield improve on Game Freak's prior efforts? And I would say the answer to that question is a resounding yes. Pokemon Sword and Shield are by far the best Pokemon games to come out in the last decade, at least. Some people take issue with the graphics in the game. You might have heard many a gamer cry over the tree textures in the wild area. Now, I hate to be the bearer of bad news and everything, but Pokemon Sword and Shield are the best looking Pokemon RPGs by a mile. So you started crying a little late if that's a deal breaker for you. Some people take issue with the story and how it feels less grand than some past Pokemon games. To which I'd say the story has never been Pokemon's strong suit, it only serves as a conduit to the main point, the League Challenge. In my opinion, if any of those things are enough for people to say that Pokemon Sword and Shield don't make any meaningful strides forward for the franchise, maybe Pokemon isn't the game for them? I love this game for the quality of life improvements they made with core and casual players alike. Shiny hunters will know what I'm talking about here. I love this game for the lowered barrier of entry for competitive team building. Pokemon Sword and Shield, of course, are not the Breath of the Wild of the Pokemon franchise. What they are, in spite of that, is the best Pokemon games that we've gotten to date. But you don't have to take my word for it. That's just my take. And who am I but the humble Wulff Den Pokemon guy?
I might also put Katana Zero up there as one of my favorite Switch games of the year. I played it a few years ago at PAX, and then again this year at PAX, and then again when it came out. It's the type of side-scrolling action that I'm into. It's difficult, but the levels are short enough that it's easy to replay over and over again without it feeling frustrating. It's almost like a puzzle game, trying to figure out the best way to finish a level. It wasn't my favorite because Mario Maker, but it ended up being Izzy's favorite.
My favorite Switch game of 2019 has to be Katana Zero. The elevator pitch for Katana Zero is basically, imagine Hotline Miami, also available on the Switch, but it's a 2D side-scroller kind of situation. It's a Devolver Digital game, and it shows because it has a lot of the same familiar elements you will find in their games. The insane amounts of violence, the emphasis on the soundtrack, the super quick action. It's a great game, although I have to say, when it comes to pacing, I don't like how it's broken up so much by a lot of plot. And I know this sounds weird that I'm complaining about too much plot in a game, but that's definitely a game that could have benefited from a tighter focus on the action itself, which is what Katana Zero really excels at. You play as this badass samurai who's doing all these assassination missions for who knows exactly. It's not super clear why you're doing these things. It's just, I have a problem with games that do something so well, but then the makers feel like they have to add some stuff that isn't exactly the strong suit, like all of this plot development that doesn't really go anywhere in this game, at least. There are stealth missions, which I, again, don't understand the point in a game that's all about quick action. And speaking of quick action, one of the cool things about the game is that you have the ability through some drugs that your character takes to slow down time. It's like a bullet time, very matrixy, so you can dodge bullets and hit them with your sword to make them hit your opponent. You can pick up objects and throw them at people. It's a really fast pace, and when the gameplay is super hectic like that, there's a lot of enemies, that's when the slow motion comes in, and you feel like a real badass by dodging all these things and doing these rolls, and it's a lot of fun. If I had to sum up Katana Zero, I guess I would say it's super violent, very fast paced, and I really could do without so many cutscenes.
I might not be that big of a Zelda fan, but I did like A Link to the Past, so when I first played Link's Awakening, it immediately clicked for me. It's a very fun top-down Zelda game. Also, I'm a big fan of the art style. It's cute as shit. I was a little bit surprised at how much my friends liked it though.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Holly Wulff. I must say my favorite game for the Switch of the year 2019 would have to be Link's Awakening. I might be a little biased because I'm a huge Zelda fan. Where's my Triforce? There it is. And I thought the fact that Nintendo was able to bring this game out again in such a gorgeous manner, like the animation itself was stunning. So just being able to play this story again and the visual details that it had was awesome. Listening to songs like Ballad of the Windfish, fully orchestrated and realized, amazing. And I got to play it with my 7-year-old son, Raynon, and it was really, really fun to be able to experience a classic game, which I love and I grew up with, now with, I guess, the next generation. So it was really, really awesome. So yeah, I would say Link's Awakening is my favorite game on the Switch for 2019. Peace out, guys.
Hey everybody, Dan Seibert here to tell you about my Switch game of the year, which has got to be The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. I remember playing the original all the way back on my Game Boy Pocket, and to see it remastered in such a unique way, it just warms my heart, damn it. I mean, look at him. I mean, look, it's so cute. It's so cute. Not only that, but we also got to see what a Zelda maker might look like within the game. And that's huge. I don't care who you are. That in itself is a huge accomplishment. I love the game, and hey, love you guys. Have fantastic holidays, and I'll see you in 2020, maybe. I don't know. Bob said, hey, never call me again, and well, I just sent him the video anyway.
My favorite Switch game of the year is this one. I might be a little biased because it's like my favorite 2D Zelda, but they perfectly recreated it for the Switch and made it way more accessible to a ton of people who have never played it before. They fixed a bunch of the issues and streamlined the whole thing. I know the frame rate stuff, but the game is really good. It might be based on a Game Boy game, but it is a full-fat Zelda game, at least where the 2D games are concerned. Given the fact that the Switch itself is a successor to Nintendo's handheld line, it's the perfect place for a remake of one of the best Game Boy games and one of the best Zelda games ever made. If you could see past the frame rate thing, which honestly never bothered me, it never ruined my time or anything, what you're left with is a game with great dungeons, a whole island to explore, and a simple yet melancholy story that'll probably pull on your heartstrings a bit. This has always been like my favorite 2D Zelda game, and I eagerly awaited its release on Switch, and it did not disappoint. And that is why it's my favorite Switch game of the year. Luigi's Mansion 3 was also good.
Hi everyone, Elliot here from the Retro Future. My favourite game release of 2019 without a doubt is Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening was one of my favourite Game Boy games of all time, and to have it re-released on the Nintendo Switch in such high quality graphics and reproduced audio, it's an absolutely heartwarming, pleasurable experience. I really like just how unique the whole thing looks. It sort of looks like a plasticine model. With the tilt shift effect, it makes it look very realistic. You feel like you can just pick up Link and move him around with your fingers. It's not an easy game. There are a lot of levels in here that are very difficult, but inherently Link's Awakening is not an incredibly difficult game. Your boss fights don't tend to last too long, which is definitely a complaint of mine, but they never really seem to do in the Zelda games anyway. There's a lot of hidden sort of puzzles and stuff that honestly without a walkthrough I don't even know how people manage to do, but it makes it a very sort of in-depth game with lots of different layers of things to do. If you enjoy puzzle games and you enjoy adventure games, without a doubt, Link's Awakening is a game for you, and I only wish I'd never played it before and then got to experience it for the first time in such a beautiful form.
Bye! Hey, did Wood leave? Because we're up to his game now.
No, I'm still here. I'm listening. You got this. You're doing great. I don't even really need to be here. I don't know why you invited me to the entire thing.
I do appreciate that, but we're up to builders now.
Oh, Dragon Quest Builders, yeah. All right. Cool. Dragon Quest Builders, by far my favorite game. This is the first one. I need the you have the second? No? Look, Dragon Quest Builders, I didn't like crafting games. I refused to play Minecraft. I don't know what was in my brain that made me think I would not enjoy a game of this style. And then somewhere in there very quickly, I fell in love. And weirdly, what I fell in love with the most, other than the likable, charming characters, fun little story, it was the crafting and the building. And Dragon Quest Builders 2 stepped up the game big time and smashed in so many extra new features that just blew me away. I think the biggest one would be the online component, inviting friends to your island and getting to build things together that stay there on your island and they can come visit whenever they want. It's therapeutic for me to play Dragon Quest Builders 2, and I will never not have fun jumping into my world and building another house or swimming pool or fish tank or whatever it is I feel like making. You know, I hadn't really put all that much thought leading up to now in what was my Nintendo Switch game of the year. I would definitely have to say it's Astral Chain. I'm not counting Dragon Quest Builders 2, while that would be my number one. If we're talking exclusives, it has to be Astral Chain for me. This game, in my opinion, has some of the best hack and slash action combat Platinum Games has ever delivered. I love having kind of two characters, having full control over one and sort of partial control over the other one, but being connected with a chain that you can also use as a weapon. It led to so many possibilities, especially when you start mixing up all the different legions and their own abilities. I feel like everyone that plays this game would have a totally different gameplay style. So yeah, Astral Chain for me is definitely the number one.
You know what? If Kevin Kenson can have 2 picks, then you can have 2 picks also. It doesn't matter because none of your picks are going to be number one anyway. We talked about all the big major ones, but there is one little tiny indie game that stole everybody's hearts and keys and rakes. It's Untitled Goose Game. We're talking about Untitled Goose Game. That was Blockhead Gaming's pick for Game of the Year 2019. Yeah, I don't think they were in the right headspace when they picked that one, but we'll let them take it away. What's up?
What's up,
See what I mean?
E from Blockhead Gaming
We're
and
filming?
yeah, I'm serious. I'm
Oh,
doing it right now.
My favorite Switch game
No, we
is
all have
the
to
friends
pick
we
one
made
game.
along the way.
Is there
the shot?
Will
Wolf,
we
damn
been
it. That's
been
one, right?
recorded.
That's one, right?
Will
That's a
Wolf,
kick, right?
But it's not for Will, it's for Bob.
Hi, Bob. How's it going? Turn this whole clip to Bob. Is Bob Jewish? Yeah. No.
Hi, Jewish Bob.
What?
You're my Hebrew. Love you.
I don't like how you're imitating me.
Stop.
Oh, my name's Jackson. I put my hand down my pants when I'm around people.
1, 2, 3.
What's up, guys? It's E from Block. Oh my. What's up, guys? It's E from Blockhead Gaming, and we're all here for Christmas time. And Bob had us ask for a game that we thought was Game of the Year. And what game did we pick?
Goose Game. You said I was doing
The Goose Game.
So we picked Untitled Goose Game.
Untitled.
Why? Because you're a little goose and you go around going to people going and you go honk, 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 honk.
No, we picked Untitled Goose Game because it's an indie game that blew up and it's really fun and it's I think it deserves some sort of game. It's goosey. It deserves a game of the year, right? Can I get a honk, guys? Can I get a honk?
Can we get a honk?
Can we get a honk? From 4 blockheads and a scootish to you. Honk, 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 honk. All right, guys, ready? 3, 2, 1. Merry Christmas! Juan said something. Do it again. 3, 2, 1. Merry Christmas!
Brady, you have to say it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, we get the idea. So while all of that was going on, I tallied up all of the votes, and please, if you liked any of the creators in this video, check them out in the description below. They're all in order of appearance.
Okay, and with all of that, it is time to find out what won our unofficial Game of the Year. I have it right here in my envelope, but Bab, if you would, please take it away.
All right, well, number 3 is
a tie between basically everything.
Number 2 is a tie between Luigi's Mansion and Fire Emblem.
And Pokemon.
And number 1, with 4 votes, surprisingly, goes to Link's Awakening of all things.
What? What? That game won Game of the Year? Out of all the games we had to choose from? What? I can't even...
Yeah, he filmed that part, like, way before.
This year?
He doesn't know what the actual game is that one I put. I wrote Untitled Goose Game in there.
He allowed this to happen?
But anyway, again, thank you to all of these creators who lended their time for this stupid video. With all of those gaming websites out there giving their Game of the Year, I think it's pretty cool to have like a conglomerate of all of the Nintendo Switch creators' Game of the Year, you know? I'm also shocked that it wasn't Fire Emblem or Pokemon. Also, this sun is a pain in my ass. But anyway, what do you guys think of our little Game of the Year? Did you agree with some of these games? Is there one that you think should have been included? What was your favorite Game of the Year? And that's not best game of this year. That's your personal favorite. They're different. Leave it in the comments below. At me on Twitter or any and all this other social media garbage.
Hey, Bab, seriously? You're about to end this video without plugging, you know, the other video you're in today on my channel? Why do you think I stuck around all day? I didn't want to do it. I did it for your benefit and your audience's benefit to make the video a little less insufferable. No, I'm kidding. I had a lot of fun here today. I hope you guys enjoyed having me around the video and I didn't, ruin it. If you want to see more of Bab or more of me, you can check me out and Bab out on my channel. I love collaborating with Bob. We've done this before a few times because, hey, we look so similar, most people can't even tell that it's a collab video. All right, bye.
I don't think we look the same. At least not today, because I have Dollar Shave Club. Thank you, Dollar Shave Club, for sponsoring this video. This is my hibernation beard. Now, the holidays are here, I gotta make it look like I, you know, leave the house. Dollar Shave Club covers your shower, oral care, and deodorant needs. And of course, shaving. Nope. This holiday season, you've also got gift sets, gift cards, and the brand new Roblancho. It's a combination robe, blanket, and poncho. But of course, there's always their starter set that includes the executive handle and blades and a 1-ounce tube of Dr. Carver's shave butter, which goes on transparent so you can see what's going on underneath. It's like a dog died. So head on over to dollarshaveclub.com/Wulff to get the shave starter set for just $5. And while you're there, make sure you check out all of those cool gift sets. After that starter set, the restock box ships regular sized products at regular price. And a special thank you to Dollar Shave Club for helping support the channel for as long as they have and for making YouTube more monetizable when it's not. Don't forget to check out everybody else's channels in the description below. Here we got new videos all the time. We got Wulff Den live every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's our live podcast where we talk to you guys. And we got streams over here on YouTube and over on twitch.tv/WulffDen. But of course, the most important thing that you can do to help support the channel is just subscribe. That way you know when we have new videos. And share this video with a friend who either likes one of the creators in this video or maybe just likes one of the games in this video. Thank you guys very much. Have yourself a good week and a happy holidays. Or Merry Christmas from Christian Science.